Hi, I'm Jacob Moore, and this is my persuasive speech over recycling. Before I start, I want to apologize for my appearance. I know I don't look my best, but yeah, we'll go through it. Recycling seems like an easy initiative that all should take part in, but many are unwilling to do that. I'm pretty sure that everyone's familiar with the phrase reduce, reuse, recycle. While this is a commonly known expression, it's considered to be more of a slogan than anything else. People aren't taking it with as much seriousness as they should. Most people actually refuse to recycle altogether, and this is something that I'm hoping I can stress to change. With recycling, often simple acts done at the individual level can make the biggest differences. If you were to look at one individual who recycled on a daily basis, simply looking at their plastic, they could save upon hundreds to thousands in plastic waste. Um, Recycling is also beneficial in many different ways. If you look more specifically, recycling can be beneficial at the environmental level. It can create U.S. jobs, prevents global warming, stops water pollution, and protects wildlife. Now looking at environment. Recycling goods requires far less energy to repurpose them than it would be to make new. Fewer resources are also needed, meaning that there'd be more environmental conservation. That being said, it also saves literally tons of waste from being put into landfills. Did you know that recycling just one aluminum can provide the energy for you to listen to one full album on a standard iPhone? And say you were to recycle 100 aluminum cans. That could provide the energy for a small bedroom for 2+ weeks. Even recycling things such as oil and plastic are incredibly beneficial. That causes prevention of drilling, mining, and logging. The average American produces between 4 to 7 pounds of trash each day. That totals up to about 1.5 solid tons of trash per individual a year. That being said, recycling also creates jobs. There are more than 56,000 companies that provide about 1.25 million jobs for Americans. Now looking at global warming. Did you know that nearly 20 years ago, in the year 2000, the recycling of solid waste prevented 32.9 million metric tons of carbon equivalent into the air? And in that time, we've been able to help better our air quality. Recycling aluminum cans can create 96% less air pollution than raw ore. And say you were to recycle 14 trees worth of paper, air pollutants would be reduced by 165,145 tons, which is much better than creating from new. Recycling is also an incredibly large factor when dealing with water pollution and wildlife conservation. Plastic products such as bottles and six rings, similar to ones that you might find on soda or beer products, can get caught up on wildlife, resulting in either really poor living conditions and possibly death. While I know that sounds like a wives' tale, it is actually an incredibly serious topic, and thousands of animals die each year from getting caught up on these plastic products. It's important to remember that recycling can affect all different types of wildlife, and different recycling can affect different species and different animals. For example, if you were to look at paper products, think about paper products. The primary way that we get them is from trees. And so to cut down all these trees, logging companies often can destroy habitats and ecosystems and just the preservation of wildlife. That being said, if a habitat's destroyed, it is very important for the ecosystem and it's very delicate. So setting one thing in motion can set a string of very poor outcomes. Now, I know I've gone over a lot, and it's kind of a lot to digest all at once, but the last thing I'd like to cover is the importance of recycling and the method in which it's done. As you can see, it goes through a plant and goes through a general process, but it's incredibly important to remember what materials and what things that you can actually recycle. Now, if you look here, you can see the basis of what you need to be doing. It's paper products, plastic products, cardboard, bottles, cans. All of this is okay, but it's important to remember that some things you can't recycle and they cannot process them at the plant. Laziness is also not an option. You can't just throw all your stuff in a recycling bin and then just expect them to seed it out. So now, recycling can provide more energy, more natural resources, more jobs, less harmful gases, and less pollution and waste. So please, everyone, try and recycle and help the earth get to its max potential.